Let me tell you a story from 2003. In the 2000s, Danish film director Lars von Trier challenged his mentor Jørgen Leth to remake his 1967 short film
The Perfect Human
5 times, but with increasingly complicated constraints each time. This task would be documented in a 2003 film, The 5 Obstructions. Now, what if, starting in the late 2010s, people all across the globe, through the power of the internet, would start playing a similar game with each other, but instead of using a short film, the main constraint would be that they all, with no exception, have to use as the basis of their work a 2 minutes 48 seconds segment in an episode of The Simpsons. This little game would start simply as a meme, but it evolved and evolved to the point where it has ascended above the Aurora Borealis and could now be considered its own internet art movement. Smell that? We're talking delicious
steamed hams.
Subscribe to LZTR.
What makes steamed ham such an iconic and malleable scene? First off, the episode it comes from is during that stretch of seasons that delivered banger episode one after the other. 22 short films about Springfield starts off by showing Bart and Milhouse as the starting point. The first short film is a poo in the Jolly Bengali. This one is fine, but it's kind of a weak start. The short is how many activities can a poo do in 5 minutes? Which from the moment he exits the Quickie Mart to when he unlocks the door again is actually 48 seconds.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Then from the radio we go to the Simpsons house where Bart throws his gum in Lisa's hair. From there they try different kinds of stuff to try to get it out. And I love the progression where everyone in Springfield just starts to chip in. Next we go to Mr. Burns and Smithers in a very funny scene where Burns tried to get a B out of Smithers' glasses. And from there we are taken on a ride in Springfield Hospital. I love that one. It follows a very over-the-top soap opera-ish structure where we have the underestimated hero being called to handle a situation that only he can solve. From the hospital to Moe's bar, we witness Moe telling Barney how much money he owes him, which is pretty funny because at this point in the show, 90% of the time we saw Barney was at Moe's, but it was never clear what he was doing to pay for all his drinks. We would see him from time to time in episodes doing odd jobs, but it's pretty much revealed that Moe just lets him drink whatever he wants and it just gets piled up on one giant bill. The short ends with Moe knocking himself out due to the lack of oxygen and hard cut to black, which could symbolize Moe going unconscious. And then when the show comes back from commercial, we just cut to Principal Chalmers at Skinner's door. I could go on and on talking about what comes next, but you all probably have seen the episode. And if you haven't, go do that right now. I'll wait. Finished? Good. It's like they put the main event in the middle of the episode. Everything that comes after is good, but this one is just special. A situation that just gets progressively more and more ridiculous and Skinner just sinks more and more into his lies. It could have been a perfect little play. If someone out there would like to do steamed hams but it's a theater play, I'd watch it.
Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon.
I love Chalmers' attitude where he clearly does not want to be there, but he kind of plays along with the dinner. But once he smells something burning, he starts asking questions. And he does not let up one bit. And Skinner has an excuse for it every time. And speaking of Seymour Skinner, he wants to gain the respect of Principal Chalmers so badly, and all he has to do to defuse the situation is just go, Superintendent Chalmers, I'm sorry, the roast is burned, but I have a solution. Ooh. But as soon as he starts with the first lie, he just digs his own grave deeper and deeper. And when you think the whole thing is going to blow up in his face, Chalmers just goes,
That's it?
No.
The editing is also superb, the small zooms are such a neat touch, and everything just concludes with a catastrophic screw-up that is never brought up again in the episode. So, I am asking again, what makes this scene so malleable? I think it's because it's such a perfect scene, and it's so detached from everything that came before. It's a 2.5 minute play that is perfectly written, acted, and told, and it's covered wall to wall with memorable quotes, and even though the steamed hams phenomenon started just as jokes, having the constraint of working just within that 2.5 minute clip pushes the creators to infuse part of who they are and what they love into this already existing piece of amazing TV. What person A does with the material will be much different than what person B will do with it. You don't come from the same place, but you both share your love for The Simpsons. Whatever the meme artists did with it always worked because the material they were working with was of such good quality from the start that it opened the floodgates to just go ham with it. Here are a few pieces that I particularly enjoyed. Links will be in the description below. I will be brief since I don't want to spoil all the visuals. This one fascinates me. Steamed hams, but it's banned in the USSR. I remember in college they showed us a little bit of Russian animation in class, and I always found this animation style so disorienting, unfamiliar, and kinda creepy, but beautiful at the same time. You can't help but look at it. It gives me the same feeling as looking at pictures of liminal spaces.
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour?
Steamed hams, but its classic Fallout is another great one. It hits all the notes of the classic video game talking heads. The little movements when you are choosing which answer you want, the hard cuts in the audio when the character is done talking, and my favorite aspect about it is the choices that you have, and one of them is the honest one. Good stuff.
And now, my absolute favorite.
Steamed Hams, the graphic adventure game. I loved point-and-click games as a kid, even though I wasn't very good at them. And again, this one hits all the notes. A perfect one-to-one replica. The MIDI music, the choppy mouth movements, the selection of options that are available to you, made with love for the SCUM engine.
Superintendent, I hope you're ready for mouth-watering hamburgers.
Artists always look for different canvas to express themselves. And making art on the internet and hoping someone sees it is like throwing a bottle in a sea of other bottles.
He'll be back. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy.
Some will express their art through writing, others by painting or drawing, or by programming. And this one offers a perfect canvas for animators. And the Simpsons community is so strong that chances of your bottle getting picked up by a boat are increased.
I mean, this hunk of junk?
And whether artists want to admit it or not, even though we create to express ourselves and we're creating first and foremost for us, having people seeing, enjoying, sharing, liking, and subbing to your work is always cool. In all seriousness, I think it's awesome how this one clip of The Simpsons kind of took off like that, and I'm really excited to see if the concept will be pushed by even more creators, or if another clip of our favorite American cartoon family will suddenly take a life of its own. And since we're getting more and more connected, who knows where the next artist to make a splash comes from, and through which canvas that person chooses to express their art. And that unpredictability, my friends, is what's so great about the information superhighway that we ride on every day.
Subscribe to LZTR.